Sorry.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining the AZ700 Azure Networking Training Day 4. And we will be, this will be the last day, and be sure to be till the end of the session to receive a certificate of participation. And also, there will be a Q&A session at the end of the training. And without any more delay, let's get into the day 4. Over to you, Robin.
Hey, thank you, Surag, for driving this. So, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to AZ700 training program. We are on the day 4. Before starting the session, requesting everyone to confirm audio. Surag, I hope it's been good and
Yes,
okay,
no
great.
echo.
Thank you, team. So, team, last 3 days we were discussing about VNet. Yesterday, the old discussion we were doing about VNet. Basically, we have seen like how private IP address has been created or how private IP address has been distributed inside Azure network. Second point, we have been discussed about a concept called subnet. We understood in which scenario we are going to use a subnet. So we understood like basically like when you want to go for um, any kind of isolation is needed, that kind of a situation, we used to go for a subnet concept. Then we had a discussion about in case if you placed resources on in a different subnet, how the communication is been established. Yesterday we have seen about a concept like in case if you place the resources inside a within a VM, within a subnet, we are able to communicate each other. Then we have seen about if you have a two subnet, it's been configured under a VNet, how the communication is been established. Then we had a discussion about VNet to VNet communication also. Then we came to know that within a subnet by default, all the resources are communicating each other. Then we came to know that if the two subnet are or more than one subnet is been configured under the same VNet, by default the communication is been available. Then we came to know that if you have a multiple VNet, it's been configured under the same VNet, communication is been not possible. The same thing applicable when you are interacting with a multiple regions or a multiple data centers available. We have discussed about that point also. So basically the intra subnet and VNet configuration or communication point we have been discussed. After that, we had a discussion about VNet peering. In case if by default communication has been not available, how this communication has been established, what are the option has been available. We had a discussion about a concept called VNet peering also. VNet peering generally it's been done in a two ways. One is a global VNet peering, and the second option we have it's about regional VNet peering also. So we have a two concept we have learned. One is called a global VNet peering, and second one is a regional VNet peering. Yesterday, I forgot to give you the lecture note. Let me type the lecture note on the chat. So it's been easy for you to give me a second. Let me type this VNet peering and types. Let me give this details on the chat. I just pasted the lecture note on the chat. You can able to copy this one. Type of the global VNet peering, type of the VNet peering, and the details have been pasted on the chat also. After that, we had a discussion about a concept called gem server. Yesterday, we understood in case if you have a multiple VM or resources being hosted, in case if you want to make any kind of a communication between a resources, normally we are using a public IP address. With the help of a public IP address, we used to connect to the respective VM. Now, we are discussing about a situation In case if your VNet is been not available, in case I'm talking about the public IP address is been not available, how do we connect to that resources? Then we have learned a concept called jump server. Jump server is basically we are placing a server, basically our either the perimeter of your network. Only that server will have a public IP address and private IP address. So we'll have a external network is been available. So this got a public IP address and this got a private IP address also. Rest all resources which is been using internally, that will have only private IP address only it's been available. So with the help of that, you are communicating internally or with the help of a jump server, or the term we have been used called gateway server. So with the help of this concept, we are working. Now, today we are discussing about another concept. It's called Microsoft Azure Bastion service. Right now, if you notice this jump server or a gateway server, if anyone wants to communicate to inside or internally, we are configuring a infrastructure as a service. There is a VM is been created with the help of a VM, or the communication is been established. So you will have a VM is been available with the help of VM. Internally, you are connecting and you are making the communication. Now, the customer is saying, no, I'm not interested for configuring a ISAS, or I'm not interested for configuring a VM. Because if you notice this jump server scenario, we are responsible for configuring this VM. On top of that, you are installing your operating system. On top of that, you are assigning a public IP address, and with the help of that, the communication is been established. Now the customer is saying, no, I'm not interested for managing a ISAS component. I want the Microsoft to be manage this VM. Microsoft needs to take a responsibility of managing this computer. That scenario, we will be using a concept called Bastion service. With the help of a Bastion service, instead of configuring a VM, we will be configuring a feature called Bastion service. So Bastion is basically work as a kind of a PaaS resource. Let me show you practically how this has been working. Let me give you a scenario here. Let me take you into portal now. Give me a second. I'm just connecting to Microsoft portal. Let me send all the details, everything. So I hope you can able to see this. Waiting for the code. Give me a second. We are waiting for the OTP code to receive. Let's wait for a minute. OTP code. Waiting for the cloud portal to load. It's taking a time. PaaS stands for it's called platform as a service. I'll explain you what is that. PaaS is basically like based on the responsibility how it's been shared. It stands for platform as a service. So Microsoft will be responsible for all the configuring of resources and all the portion. That's called platform as a service. Detail has been shared on the chat. Let me delete whatever resources which has been created yesterday. So to avoid confusions, let's wait. Let's delete this. Just it will take a minute. Let's wait this to complete. Let me delete this. Okay. Yes. Basically, one more item has been available, Abdul. That basically called as anything as a service. ZAS also. There is one more terminology has been available. Anything as a service. So let me clear this. ISAS, SAS, PAS, and SAS. If anyone looking for a lecture note, give me 2 minutes. Let me type it. Parallelly, let me clear this existing resources also. Let me make a lecture note for you parallelly. ISAS, PAS, and SAS. Yeah, Abdullah, we are going to discuss about the Bastion service. So right now we are clearing the existing resources. Already it's been deleted here to avoid the confusions here. Yeah, we are going for the configuration item. I'll show you both the mode. Okay. Right now I'm just making a lecture note for ISAS and PAS. So I think Co has been asked the details about that. So we're just making a details for that. So just pasting the details on the chat. Co, you can able to copy these details. This is very useful for you. I just pasted on the chat. Right now I just pasted this details here. Parallelly, the VM deletion or existing resource group which we've been created is been it's in coming. Let's wait. Right now we have been cleared this one. Now for doing this lab, we are taking it an feature called Bastion service. So Bastion service is a kind of a jump server or gateway server. Let me take you into whiteboard now. You may be remembering when we had a discussion about how jump server was configured. First thing, we have configured a couple of VMs. You had a VM is been available. Now VM is been connected to a VNet, right? All the VM has been connected to a VNet. Now on the same VNet, you are placing a jump server. So this was the configuration be done on in a jump server case. You may be noticed like only the VM is got private IP address. There is no public IP address was been assigned to the VMs, right? Only the jump server is got a public IP address and private IP address. So this is the only option we had on in a jump server case. Now I'm going to configure a concept called Bastion service. Bastion service something like without using a jump server, how we can able to connect to the internal network. That is the lab currently we are doing here. For doing this lab, let's do one thing. Let's make a couple of VMs without public IP address. Okay, we are going to create in a east to west region. So we are going to make a couple of VM without public IP address here, and we are trying to see how this can be connected. Let me go to the cloud portal. Now create a few virtual machines. Let me create a new one. I'm just saying like Azure batch. VM name I'm giving is a VM1. I'm going to create in a east to west region. Username and password has been given. Network. Here I'm giving like a production network. Prod VNet I'm just giving. Review and create. Create. Right now the VM we are creating. I forgot to remove the public IP address. Let me go and clear that. Let's wait. We have created a VM. Let me remove this public IP address parallelly. Let's wait. Disassociate here. Now I'm created one VM in the East US data center. Let me create two more VM, one in East data center and one in the North Europe also. Then you will be able to understand how your Bastion service has been working here. Right now you can able to see the VM1 is been created in the East US data center, and public IP address we already been removed. You can able to see it's been created without public IP address. Let me create one more VM though on the same location, VM2. Attaching to the same network, subnet A prod, public IP address, it's been removed. None. VM2 also got created. Validation is in progress here. Waiting for the deployment to complete. Right now, we have a system is being created where the server is been created into the East US region without a public IP address here. You can able to see both the VM is being created on the East US. Let me create one more VM on in a different data center here. Let's wait. Let's create one more VM. Let's give it the name VM3 in a North Europe data center. Here I don't have any network here. Let me create a one network. Sales VNet. It's in a different region here. So we have a 3 VM. Currently it's in provisioning here or provisioned. Let's wait for the rest of the members also to complete. Create. Right now the deployment is in progress here. You may be able to see here. We have a 3 VM has been created. 2 is been created in the East US region and 1 it is created in a North Europe. I have to remove the public IP address also from here. By mistake, we forgot to remove the public IP address. Let's go and remove that public IP address here. Let's go to the properties, IP configuration, remove it here. You can just go here and disassociate and remove the public IP address. Right now, you may be able to see both 3 VMs has been ready here. How to download this or how to connect to this server? That is the next question we have. So let me take you into the whiteboard now. Right now, you may be able to see we have a 3 VM has been created. If you take pictorially how this has been connected, you have a VM1 and VM2. You have a VM1, VM2. Both are created inside to a network. We are given its network name. We are given its Azure batch. Batch is the VNet we are given. This has been created in East US data center. Now I have another network is being created VM3. This has been associated to a different network. The name we are given it's called sales. This has been hosted inside North Europe. Now, right now, if you see both the cases, both the cases, this VM is got only the private IP address. There is no public IP address, only the private IP address here. Now I'm sitting in Philippines or in Malaysia. I want to access this computer. Previously, we were following two methods. First method was it's like in case if you have a IP address is been available, basically like public IP address if it is available, I had an option for connecting to this server with the help of RDP with the help of a public IP address. So all these computers inside this infrastructure can be connected with the help of a public IP address. But currently I don't have any public IP address, so this option is been not possible. Second option we have been discussed last day, placing a VM on perimeter network. This network will have a public IP address. Internally, this will have a private IP address also. This is the second option is been available. But currently, I don't have any gem server or gateway server is been available. So we understood if you want to use any gateway server or a gem server, basically you are installing a VM. On top of that, you are installing a operating system, and that is been assigned with a public IP address and private IP address. With the help of that, you are connecting. So this is the way the communication is been configured in the past. This point is clear. If you're good, can you comment it on the chat? Any confusion, any questions? If you're good, can you comment it on the chat? I got only 3 response on the chat, waiting all the members to confirm. Super. Thank you. Yes. Now, when you discuss about this gem server, management of the complete host or a VM's responsibility of ours. Now the client or a customer is saying, no, I don't want to take this headache. I want the Microsoft or the automatic option needs to be available. So that's the reason on in a perimeter network, we are going to enable a feature called a Bastion service. You are enabling a service on in a VNet level. This is needs to be enabled in a VNet level. Let's go and show you how this has been enabled. Right now, if you connect to this Microsoft portal, you have a VMs are available here. In case if you want to enable a Bastion service, you have a 2 options are available. One, you have option for Bastion here. You have option for Bastion. You can able to select it here and you can able to configure it here. Or from the one option, you can directly you can able to go to the Bastion service and you are in a position for configuring this. You can able to go and configure this. This is the first option. We can able to use it. Second option, you can able to enable a Bastion service from the VM level itself. So VM level, whatever we are doing, that will go and create it in a VNet level. I'll show you here. For example, like in case if I need to connect to the VM1, the moment when you select an option called connect, you may be able to see there is a option for connecting called a Bastion service here, right? You have a RDP and you have a option for a SSH. You have option for a Bastion. You can enable an option called a Bastion here. You can select an option called Bastion. Right now you will get a 2 options here. Go with the default one or go with a manually here. I'm saying go with the default option here. Let's go and see how practically this has been configured. Let's wait for a minute. FreeAS basically has been using like an alternate for your gem server or a gateway server. For example, like in your organization, you have some servers are available and you want to ensure that your gem server or it's been not used and you want to ensure that you need to have a server details to be available. So with the help of that, you can able to configure this one. So let's wait for this. deployment is in progress here. It will take a few minutes. We need to wait. Bastion services creation is in progress here. So we need to wait. Let's wait this to complete. It's creation is in progress here. So we need to just wait. Normally it will take 3 to 5 minutes. We have to wait because this is doing a couple of backend activities that the reasons taking time. Meanwhile, we can do one thing. Let's take a 5 minutes break and come back. Let's take a 5 minutes break and come back. So meanwhile, this Bastion service will be installed. Thank you. Let's take a short break. So we'll be starting the session in 2 minutes. We are given a short break because the Bastion service was installing. Now it's got installed. So let's wait for 2 more minutes. We're waiting for the people to join. Let's wait another 2 more minutes and we'll start the session. So thank you. I hope all are back. So right now you may be able to see on the screen, we have enabled a Bastion service here. Now, if you go to Bastion service, you may be able to see there is a Bastion service is been enabled inside a East US region. If you select this option, you may be able to see here Bastion service has been enabled in a particular VNet. See, what is the particular VNet? It's saying that, hey admin, I have been enabled a Bastion service for your prod virtual network. That is a message currently we are getting, is saying that we are created this Bastion service in a particular network. What is that network? You may be able to see it's on a prod VNet. Now, if you go to virtual network, you may be able to see we have a two network currently it's been available. One, it's prod VNet, which has been created in the East US region, and you have a sales VNet, which has been created in North Europe also. Now, connecting to these two VNet, you have a couple of VM also it's been attached. You may be able to see like a VM1, 2, and a 3. First two VM is been attached to East US. VM1 is been attached to the prod VNet here. You may be able to see if you go to the VNet here. The moment when you go to the VNet here, you have a VM1 attached to the prod VNet. VM2 is been attached to VM2 also attached to the same network. It's been loading. Let's wait for a minute. It's been loading here. So let's, you can able to see VM2 also attached to the same prod. It's been loading. Let's wait. Let's wait. Right now you may be able to see here. This is loading. It's been VM2. Let's VM3 has been attached to a different network. You can able to sales. VM2 is been attached to the same network. It's a prod VNet. Now, the moment when you connect or create a Bastion service has been created against to a network. Right now, you may be able to see it's got a prod VNet, and you can able to see this got a public IP address also. See, there is a public IP address also. It's been created for this. See, there is a public IP address also. It's created. So technically, if you go back to this whiteboard, you are created or enabled Bastion service on top of a VNet, and sales VNet currently there is no Bastion service. Now, at any point of time, the moment when you are trying to connect VM1 or a VM2, you will be connecting to the Bastion service first. You're getting the point? Instead of giving IP address of VM1 or a VM2, you will be connecting via or with the help of a public IP address of Bastion service. Now, let's go back. Let's go back to the portal. Right now, if you go to the portal here, right now, if I'm clicking on the virtual machine, previously we were connecting with the help of a RDP option. Now, instead of RDP, from the connect tab, I'm selecting an option called Bastion. Select an option called Bastion. Right now, you may be able to see here, it's asking the username and a password of that particular VM. Right now, you can able to see if I'm just giving username and password, I'll be giving the username and password of that particular computer. I'm just giving the username and password of that computer. Now, right now, you may be able to see instead of a RDP protocol, this will be connected via a browser based one, right? Similar like your Citrix or a VDI, you may be able to see this has been connected via browser. Right now, you can able to see this has been connecting via browser one. See, right now this has been created here. Let's wait. Right now, you may be able to see on the screen. Right now, you may be able to see in a browser based we are taking. Let's wait for this. You may be able to see here. You have a server is been attached here. Right now, if you go back to the another VM, right now I've been connected to the VM1 through a browser based action. Now, if you connect to VM2, VM2 also you can able to see this has been working in a browser based one. I'm just giving VM2 here. Let's connect to the browser based. You can able to see this browser base. It's in connected. See, the next window is been opening on in another tab. Let's wait. You can able to see it's a browser base. You can able to connect it here. Now, right now, if you go to the portal here, right now you may be able to see both the VM, which has been hosted inside a cloud infrastructure. Currently, it's been configured under Bastion. You can able to see it's been connecting via Bastion service here, right? Right now, you may be able to see it's been connecting via Bastion service. Now, the moment when you're trying to connect VM3, you may be able to see this Bastion is been not working here. See, the moment when you start working here, see the moment I'm trying to connect using a Bastion, see, I'm getting a message. Sorry, boss, there is no option of Bastion here. Can you comment on in the chat why we are not able to connect your Bastion here? Any idea? Because VM3 is actually it's been configured in a North Europe. VM3 currently it's been configured in a North Europe. That's the reason we are not able to connect it here. Technically, whenever you configure a Bastion service, Bastion is actually configured on in a VNet level. What I'm trying to say here is whenever you configure a Bastion service, it's been configured in a VNet level. So right now, if you go back to the whiteboard, you have a two VM has been available. VM3 is currently attached to a North Europe and a different VNet. That's the reason I'm not able to use a Bastion service. So technically, you want to enable a Bastion service in a either in a VNet level, or in case if there is a VNet peering has been available, with the help of that you can able to connect. So technically, the VNet or if the Bastion service has been enabled in a VNet level. Is this point has been clear? Any questions, team? Any point? Team, any questions from anyone? Are we good? Any questions? If you're good, can you comment it on the chat? Bastion service, let me give you a lecture note for that. Give me a second. Let me make a note for you. Let me give you a note. Give me a second. Let me make it. So this you can able to update in your work note. Echo, there is no VM bastion or VNet bastion. Whatever bastion you have been enabled, that has been enabled in a VNet level only. In case if you are configuring a VM bastion, this option, like the moment when you go back to VM and enabling a bastion service, technically this is creating on top of a VNet only. The moment when you select an option like a bastion here, this actually creating a deploy a bastion on in a VNet level only. Clear? Ready? This point is clear. Technically, for example, right now you can able to see here, the moment when you select deploy a bastion, you can maybe able to see this is attaching a subnet. Right now you may be able to see it's been approved. Let's go and check it in the portal now. Right now you may be able to see this is actually creating a bastion network. It's been attaching to the existing VNet. Now let's see how this has been attaching here. Let's wait. Rolling, I'll come to your question. Let me finish this, then I'll come to your question. Right now it's been creating a bastion service. Let's wait. Right now the VNet has been bastion has been created for the second VM. So let's wait. So answering to your question, whatever bastion you will be creating on in a VNM or a VNet, it's the same only. Exactly, Rian. It's kind of a gateway server. Basically, it's been using for creating or connecting through a remotely. I already provided lecture note also on the chat window. Let's wait. Right now the bastion service is in progress here. So we have to wait for a few more minutes. Right now, you may be able to see this Bastion service for the sales VNet. It's in progress. We're waiting this to complete. Right now, there's been progress. Right now, you may be able to see your co answering to your question. Right now, you may be able to see it's giving a clear message here. Even though if you initiated your trigger for your Bastion service on in a VM level, technically this is gone created inside the VNet level. See, sales VNet. Co, I hope you can able to see here. It's technically it's been gone initiated or it's been triggered on in a VNet level. See, if you go to the Bastion service here, see where this has been created. It's not in a VM level. Technically, this has been you're triggering or enabled on in a VM level, but technically this is been created on in a VNet level. See, on in a sales VNet. It's been created on in a VNet level only. This has been created. I hope your doubt is got cleared here, right? If yes, can you put a comment on the chat? Technically, it's been created on in a VNet level. Yes, good. Now, there was another question on in a chat. Rollings was asking how this Active Directory integration or authentication or authorization is been doing. There are two ways rolling is been happening here. For example, the moment when you connect to particular VM, the moment when you connect the username and password depends upon what is the username and password you are giving. For example, the moment if you give the username and password, you may be remembering at the time of creation, you are providing a username and password, right? Technically, that username and password is being created on a local server. That means it's been created on in the local VM server. So it's been using a local username and password. So with the help of that, it's been created. In case if you have any kind of a domain, it's been available, you will be able to use that username and password as well. So backend, it will be authenticated with the Active Directory on in the backend also. I hope all of us are clear about a concept of Bastion service here. Clear? Any doubt? Team, any doubt here? If you're good, all the members, can you comment it on the chat? At least like button. Yes. Now, right now we have seen how jump server has been working. Right now we are going to discuss about another concept called NSG, Network Security Group. How we can able to make any kind of a right now you may be able to see here. When we had a discussion about a subnet or a VNet, we have seen how communication is been enabled. Now I'm going to discuss about a next topic, basically known as NSG, the term or feature we are using. It's called NSG. NSG stands for Network Security Group. Right now, if you go to a VM, how a VM has been created on in a Azure, you may be noticed you have a VM has been available. This VM has been attached to a network card, basically known as VNIC. VNIC has been attached to subnet. Subnet has been attached to a VNet, right? This is the way your network is been configured on in a cloud infrastructure. I hope you are clear about this hierarchy, how a cloud is been configured on in a network. You may be able to see you have a VM. VM is getting by default a VNIC card. VNIC card is been attached to a subnet. Subnet is been attached to a VNet, and it's been connected to internally or externally. This is the way your network is been configured. And we had a couple of discussion also, like how subnet to subnet communication is been happening, how one VNet to another VNet communication has been happening. This kind of communication or traffic management we have been discussed. Now I'm discussing about another concept, basically how a communication is been connected, or how a firewall or how a internal traffic management can be configured. For example, when we had a discussion, we have seen one subnet to another subnet. By default, the communication has been available. Now the customer is saying, hey Robin, I need to make some kind of a traffic management because I'm configured a domain controller on the subnet. Whatever communication is coming to the domain controller, this needs to be this needs to be controlled. I need to ensure that whatever traffic has been coming, this needs to be controlled. I need to do some kind of a application or a port level kind of a management on in a cloud. Now, basically, this has been done in a different ways. One of the commonly used method, it's called as NSG. NSG stands for Network Security Group. So with the help of a network security group, you will be able to do a mapping of the resources. With the help of that, you can able to do a um, traffic management. Whatever port or a traffic has been coming inside a port, I can able to manage here. Now let me show you how technically this has been working. Whenever you configure a VM on in a cloud, by default, any traffic which has been coming on into a cloud, By default, this has been blocked. What I'm trying to say here, we have a thumb rule available on in Azure. By default, all inbound ports, whatever traffic has been coming internally, by default, it's been blocked. Now you may be getting a question in that kind of a scenario, how your communication or RD communication has been enabled. Give me a second. I'm back here. What I'm trying to say here is when you configure NSG or when you configure a network, by default, VM is actually, it's been blocking all the inbound connection. But it's been blocked to you. Right now, if the case, if all the inbound connection is been blocked, getting a RDP, that may be the first question. The thumb rule available on in Microsoft, whenever you create any VM, by default all the connections been blocked, whether it is a RDP or HTTP, everything has been by default, it's been blocked. If you go to the cloud portal, you can able to connect to your Microsoft portal here. You have able to see even SSHP, SSH and RDP, everything it's been the same concept. It's been blocked continuously. Let me show you here. Let me delete this existing one. So you may be able to understand the concept pretty well. Just give me a minute. Let me delete this. You have a, you can able to see here. Let's wait. Right now we are clearing this existing one and we are trying to validate NSG. So let's wait. Let's wait this to complete. This resource to get clear first. Right now the deletion or decommission of the existing resources are in progress. We are waiting this to complete. Deletion is in progress here. Let's wait. Deletion is in progress here, so you can able to see on the status right now. Patch group deletion is in progress here. So let's wait. Almost, sir, can we have a free account practice this concept? Yes, Melinda, you have a, in case if you have created a free account will allow all this flexibility of creation of or managing of all these Azure networking components. You can able to use the Azure free account, which will which will allow you to practice all these steps. That by default is getting $200 uh, credit points, or it's been like $1 available on in the bucket. With the help of that, you will be able to do all these practices. So you can use the free account. With the help of free account, you will be able to do all this informations, or we will be able to do all these practices on in the your own virtual labs. Right now we are waiting for the resource group to get delete here, because we are doing a NSG lab. Don't want the people to get confused yet. So let's wait for a minute. Since we have been enabled a multiple bastion service, that the reason it's taking a time. We have to wait, no other option available in front of us. So we need to wait for a minute. You can able to see you. There is a creation is in progress here. It's taking time because we have a multiple bastion service got created. That's the reason it's taking time. Since it's taking a time, we can take a 5 minutes break and come back. Let's take a 5 minutes break because it's taking time than expected. So let's take a 5 minutes break and come. After that, we'll do for NSG lab. We'll try for configuring a NSG, and we'll try for configuring a firewall also. Let's take 5 minutes break. I hope all are back. Yeah, so we took a break since Bastion service has been taking a time. Right now on the screen, you may be able to see here how Bastion service has been enabled. Right now you may be able to see it's or it's been deleted here. Right now we are discussing about a new terminology or a new service here that basically known as NSG, that basically known as Network Security Group. It's basically using for making a internal firewall, or this will act like a kind of a traffic management inside your organization. Now let me create a VM here. I'm just going to create a new fresh VM, going a virtual machine here. I just given a name called Orange, or market whatever name you want. You can, based on your interest, you can able to give. I just given all the details here. You can able to see like Orange. I'm just given the name VM1. I given North Euro. Infrastructure as a service here. You can able to see like how infrastructure redundancy I already given this detail. I'm just given the username and password. Now, the moment when you given this username and password, in the bottom you may be able to see an option. It's called select an inbound rule here. The reason it's been like whenever you configure any VMs here, you have an option to select what is the rule or what is the port to be allowed here. Why we are getting this option? Because I was saying by default all your internal computers or a VM is actually blocking by default your internal communication, or by default your VM is actually blocking the. Give me a second. So right now you may be able to see here. I was just making a NSG document. Right now you may be able to see here. You are getting an option for selecting an inbound rule and outbound rule also. There is a checkbox you can able to see, because why we are getting this checkbox, because the reason being here is By default, there is a thumb rule saying that Microsoft is been not allowed any inbound protocols or a port inside your cloud. For example, right? If you configure a VM, you have a VM is been available. In case if someone is been taking, for example, like a Ken or Sujit, someone is been taking RDP, by default, your computer is actually blocking all the inbound connection here. Now, who has been blocking this one? Technically, this has been blocking by the NSG is been created inside your system. I hope this point has been clear to you. By default, the thumb rule here is all inbound rules are is been blocked. All outbound rules are allowed. This is the rule. By default, it's available on in a cloud. Now, what I'm trying to say here is whenever someone is taking RDP, if the default rule is being like block all the inbound rule, how we will take an RDP for avoiding that exception or getting an exception here, because someone has been connecting, we need an exception here, right? If someone is taking RDP, we need an exception. How the exception is been provided? Exception is been provided inside a option. Right now, you may be able to see there is a option is been you're getting here. That's called a RDP to be allowed. I'm saying to Microsoft, hey Microsoft, please allow a inbound connection. Inbound and outbound is nothing, Melinda. Incoming and outgoing. There's something like whatever traffic is been coming inside your infrastructure, whatever traffic is been going from your infrastructure, that basically known as outbound. Is it clear? Whatever traffic is been coming, whatever traffic is been going, that is been called as inbound and outbound. So it's the technical term we used to use. It's called inbound and outbound here. Now, on in a cloud portal, you can able to see here. I'm configuring or I'm informing Microsoft for this computer. Please allow me a port number of RDP. So right now you may be able to see here. You have a port number is been given here. It's saying that, hey Microsoft, please allow me a port number RDP here. So let's review and create it here. Let's wait for a few minutes. Let's wait for this validation to complete. Yes, validation has been completed. Let's wait. Right now you may be able to see this deployment is in progress here. Let's wait. Right now you may be able to see here. You have a VM is been created here. Now, if you go to the portal here, you may be able to see the VM. It's been configured with a details here. You can able to see these are the details you can able to see here. Now, right now, when the moment when you try to connect a RDP, how you are getting a RDP since by default Azure has been blocking a inbound connection. Let me show you that. Let me connect to this VM here. Let me try to connect it here. Let's wait. Just connecting. Right now, you may be able to see we are able to connect to this portal. I'm just given the username and password. 1 second. I just got some error message on the primary screen. I'm just waiting this credential to get some error message. Let's connect it here. Now, let me give you. Right now, you may be able to see this is connected to the server here. Right now, you may be able to see you are able to connect the server with the help of a RDP here. Now, how RDP has been enabled or how RDP has been working here, because in a NSG, if you go to the all resources, you may be noticed the moment when you created this VM, right now you created a VM here, you may be noticed along with your VM, there is a network security group has been created. See, there is a network security group has been created automatically here. See, there is a network security group has been created here. You may be able to see here right now where this has been attached. Network security group is an individual network security group. Right now you may be able to see this network security group has been created and attached to a network interface card. See, it's been attached to a network interface card. See, it's been attached to a network interface card. This point has been clear. This has been attached to the network interface card. Now, on the NSG itself, you may be able to see you have a inbound security rule, you have a outbound security rule. Both you can able to see here. See, there is an inbound and outbound security rule. You will be able to see here. So you can able to see the RDP port currently you have been allowed is been created as a exception here. Here saying that allowed this port, it's been allowed this protocol. You can able to see here. Right now you may be noticed the moment when you created a VM, automatically along with your VM, this exception or this network security group is got created. Now let me create one more VM. Then let's see, is there any additional network card is been created here? Let me create one more VM. I'm creating one more VM. It's called VM2 in a North Europe. Let's create this. One second, let me see where this is the first VM is being got created. North Europe only. Okay, let's create one more. review and create here. Right now, you maybe notice here, I've been allowed RDP protocol also here. Let's create it here. Review and create. Initially is the yes, we have been allowed Melinda. You may be seen there is an option called inbound route, right? The moment when you start creating a virtual machine, this is the place where your RDP protocol is been allowed. See, select an inbound pool. Here you've been selected on a tick mark, right? With the help of that. Right now, let's wait. The size is not available. Let's change the size. Already we have been created. Yes, we have been already created a VM. So this was a demo. So already you can able to see the second VM is created here. Now you go to inside all resources. You may be seeing there is a one more network security group is got created here. See, there is one more security group is been created, and where this has been attached, this has been attached to the VM2. You may be able to see this has been opened, this has been created and attached to the network interface card. See, attached to the network interface card. Clear? The moment when you create this actually created and attached to the network interface card here. Is this point is clear? Okay. Now there's a couple of points you need to remember on an NSG case. You may be able to see here there is a two option you can able to see like associate and subnet and a network interface card. So technically when you are configuring a subnet, so when we are configuring a NSG, this can be associated in a two level. It can be associated in a network interface card level, or this can be attached on in a subnet level also. Right now you may be able to see on in a hierarchy of your VM. First, your VM has been created. VM is been attached to VNIC. VNIC has been attached to subnet. Subnet has been attached to VNet. This is the way the hierarchy has been working. So Microsoft has been doing a layered approach for your traffic management. Technically, on in a VNIC level, you will have a NSG has been applied by default automatically. You may be seeing like the moment when you create a VM, automatically there is a NSG has been created and attached on into the VNIC level. Now, in a subnet level also, you have an option for creating NSG. You can able to create NSG on in a subnet level. On the VNet level, you will be configuring firewall. So whenever you are, if there is any packet has been coming inside your Azure, first level of verification has been happening on in a VNet level with the help of a firewall. If that information has been passed or verified, if it has been allowed, it will move to the next level. That means it will move to the subnet level. In the subnet level also, it will do a verification. Subnet level validation is being done with the help of a NSG and doing the validation. And from here, it's been coming on into the VNIC level. So with the help of a VNIC, this communication has been happening. Clear? With the help of this, your traffic has been managed here. Now, a couple of points you need to remember here. Whenever you configure a NSG, NSG has been configured with the help of a priority, because in case if you're configuring n number of rules inside a cloud, we should know on which level this NSG has been processed. So always the NSG rule has been started from 100 and it's been ended in 4096. Whatever rule it's been assigned, NSG has been always it's been configured starting with 100 and it's been ending on into the 4096. So that is the way your NSG has been configured and it's been assigned also. Clear? So whenever you have a configuration has been coming, it's been configured on in a NSG level and the rule is been configured in a 100 to 4096. Now, any number which has been starting with a lower value, this got highest priority. Any number which has got a lowest priority, that is got lowest number, that and the highest number it's got lowest priority. That is important to remember here. Whenever you configure a route, you may be seen assigned a couple of orders here, because in which order this needs to be followed. If you take a Microsoft portal, you may be able to see this rule is being started or rule assigned in a priority way. You can able to see here when you go to the, you can able to see like a rule number you can able to see here, right? You may be able to see like a, you can able to see here. In case if anyone wants HTTP to be allowed, let me connect to this server. Second, I'm just trying to take a RDP of this server. Let me reconnect and connect it again. Give me a second. Or let me, we can edit the priority number, Richie. We can have option for editing the priority number here. Let's wait for this to restart. Right now I have rebooted the primary. Let's connect to the server. I think right now you can able to see the server has been back online. Let me install a IAS server here. Let me go to the portal. Let me install a IAS service here. Next, next, next. Let's install IAS service. Let's wait. I know the installation is in completed here. Now you may be able to see you have a couple of servers are available here. One server has been available here, which has been configured with a web server. Now let me go and check what is the address of this server. It's given 10.0.0.4. Let me connect to the server, web server, with the help of a browser is been loading. It will take a few minutes. You may be able to see locally or internally your web server has been working. So the moment internally I'm trying to connect it, you can able to see this server has been able to communicate or it's getting the connection here, right? Let's give a close and let's I'm just let me give 10 dot. Right now you may be able to see locally the web server has been working. At the moment when you try to connect with a public IP address also from the local computer. Now, right now you may be able to see you have a working locally here. So let me take you into whiteboard. Let me explain you how this has been working now. You have a server is You have a server has been available. Now on top of that, you have installed IAS website. From the locally, when you tried verifying this IAS, it's been working fine. But the moment when you try to connect it from externally, how the traffic has been coming, it's coming with a protocol HTTP slash public IP address, whatever you are given, right? Now, right now, if you try to connect it from externally, for example, like 52 dot series, if I'm trying to connect it, your computer is not allowed or is not taking that. See, the moment when you're trying to connect it externally, I just given this IP address. Internet Information Service, Malinda. It's basically like a web server. It's not IAS, it's IIS, Internet Information Service. It's with the help of IIS. It's been connecting. So let's wait. Right now, connection to the server with the help of a public IP address has been trying to connect it. But the server is saying like, no, I'm not able to connect. You know what is the reason behind that? Your NSG is actually received this packet and NSG is saying, sorry, boss, I don't have this information about this protocol. Because of that, I am denying this connection. You got the point? The moment when you tries to connect it, you is actually denying your HTTP packet because there is no allowed rule available inside your NSG. I can see there is a question from Firnas is raised the hand. Firnas, can you post your question or a doubt on the chat? If you're good, can you comment it on the chat here? So right now, team, even though if you created a web server, since I didn't configure any rule or exception or allowed condition on in my NSG, that's the reason I'm not able to access this server. For example, like if you go to the portal here, now how to add this rule here, you need to go to the particular VM, wherever you want to add it, or the particular NSG, you need to connect it. Right now we have an issue with the VM1. I'm just going inside NSG here. I have a NSG has been available here. Right now we have a NSG has been connected here. You can able to see the NSG name. I'm just connecting here. I'm saying there is an inbound rule to be allowed for HTTP. I just added a rule here saying that from any connection, if it is coming with a HTTP or HTTP, please allow the connection here. Here you can able to set your priority number from 100 and which has been ending from 4096. I'm just saying allow. Just configured it. Let me allow H also. I'm just giving with another number. Allow. I'm just given HTTP and HTTPS is been allowed. Let's wait. Oh, I thought my bad. So I've been allowed. Let me show you how this has been created. Let me delete it here. Let me let me show you again how this has been created. Let me recreate the entry here. HTTP, you need to just go to the portal here, inbound rule, HTTP, allow. Even FTP also can be configured here. Right now, you may be able to see HTTP has been allowed. If you go to the HTTPS, the custom port is HTTPS here. Priority number, Melinda, it's been like in which order this needs to be. Because if you configure a multiple rules here, which order needs to be processed first, that is being decided by the priority number. On an outbound rule, which rule will process first, that is been decided number. So that's what I'm saying. The priority number is been starting from 100 and it's been configured with a 4096. That is the way it's been configured. This point is clear. Now, right now the inbound rule is been configured here. Let's go and verify the server again. I'm just connecting to the server again, the public IP address. Let me enter here. Right now, you may be able to see your HTTP has been working. How this has been working? Because we have configured a allow route inside your cloud portal saying that you can be able to connect it here. So that's the reason we are able to connect it here. So with the help of a allow or with the help of a deny rule, you can able to configure portal here, the allow or it's the internal firewall here. Let me pause it here for taking your questions. Now, can we NSGs filter out by keywords? Basically, like with the help of an IP address, but in like if you go to the portal here, not based on a keyword is generally it's been working. You may be able to see this can be work based on an IP address or service tag. You have a different service tag is been available instead of a keyword. uh, James, maybe we can able to use a term called services. Based on the services, if you want, you can able to configure it here. you have option for configuring based on a services also. Option based on the services also here. So, or you have a option for only from a specific IP address. If you want, you can able to go for that, or you can able to go for a application security group. You can able to go for that. You can able to select this option. You can able to select service tag or any of this option. You can able to select it here. Ready? Any questions? If you're good, can you come on the chat? I hope this NSG's concept has been clear to everyone here. Requesting everyone to confirm on the chat. In case if you want me to repeat it, a particular part, I'm happy to do that. How does Azure Bastion services been interacting with what are the consideration? By default, row, it's been like if you're configuring a NSG or a Bastion service, automatically that rule will be added here. Automatically that NSG rule will be associated here. So whenever you are creating a Bastion service, there is a NO time is been created inside the portal. So you have an option for automatic created here. You can able to see automatically whenever you're creating Bastion service, that will be a rule inside the portal. So that's the way computing has been, that's the way the NSG has been working on in a Azure infrastructure. Any questions from anyone? Now I'll show you how firewall has been enabled. So possibly let me give you a scenario how firewall has been enabled on in a Azure. Basically, if you take a scenario here, NSG is giving a two layer of protection in a VNIC and subnet level. Now, when it is coming on in a cloud side, for providing an additional layer of support, you have a DID has been configured. DID is basically known as it's defense in depth. Basically, like when you configure a server, you have a VNet has been available, you have a subnet has been available, and you have a VNet also has been available. So whatever configurations we are doing, it's been configured on in a VNet level. Whatever configuration the firewall has been configuring, that has been configured on in a VNet level. So firewall has been installed. You need to go to the firewall service. Before moving to that firewall, one important point you need to remember, whenever you create any firewall, this is basically working in a kind of a hub and spoke model. So you'll have a dedicated firewall, which has been working in a centralized mode. With the help of that, it's been communicating to all the resources available inside. Now, when it is coming on in Azure, you have a firewall can be configured on in a cloud level here. For example, like if you configured on in a Azure portal, you can able to go to the firewall. I'm enabling this firewall here. Create a firewall. Resource group. Basically, like I'm just giving like this is the HR firewall. I'm just giving which region this needs to be created. I'm just creating in a North Europe. So the moment when you start creating this one, I selected a network here. Right now, you may be able to see there is a message. Whenever you create a firewall, you need dedicated subnet to be created. See, in case if I need to create a firewall, always this needs to have a dedicated subnet to be available, and this needs to be created for your system. For example, right now, if you try to create a firewall, this actually not getting any option for moving to the next tag, is getting an error message saying that there is a firewall has been created, but there is no option has been available for Microsoft here, right? Right now, I don't have any option for creating a server here. If you go to the server portal on into the network, I'm going to create a one additional subnet. Only with the help of a subnet only, you will be able to create additional firewall. So technically, you need to have a dedicated subnet is been needed for your firewall. So I'm just creating one new firewall. I'm saying like Azure firewall subnet. I'm creating this one. So I'm just creating. Let's create here. There is a dedicated subnet is with us firewall here. Let's wait for a few minutes. Right now, you can able to see here you have a firewall has been created. Now, here there is an additional subnet has been created here. Now, let me go to the firewall session. Previously, I was getting an error message saying that firewall has been not allowed or it's been not connecting because there was no dedicated subnet was available. I'm just giving this is like HR firewall. I just given the name. Right now, I'm selecting to the existing. Or let me create a new firewall. It's like known like a market. Let's give 10.1.0.0/26 or 624 24. I just given a public IP address also to firewall. Let's review and create here. Validation, some error message we got. Let's see what is exactly policy I'm saying. Standard policy or and create here. Validation completed. Let's create. We are waiting for the deployment into program. We are waiting for the firewall to get created. It will take a few minutes. We need to wait it. So right now the VNet is been on the VNet level. We are enabling the firewall. Let's wait for this to complete. Okay, you need a lecture note for NSG. Yes, I have a few notes been available. Give me a second. Let me draft it that NSG issue. Give me a second, Hazida. Let me type this and organize that. Just give me a second. Let me give you. Hazida, you can able to copy from the chat now. I just pasted some of the key features. Also, let me paste it here. Hazida, I hope you can able to copy this details from the chat. Now we got another question on the chat. What is the need of a subnet? Basically, it's for a efficient network traffic management. Basically, using for providing a better network security. We are using a network, separate isolated network for that. Is basically for a proper isolation of your infrastructure. For that, we are using that. Right now, you may be able to see you have a firewall. It's been configured here. If you go to the firewall feature, you have a firewall. It's been configured, but there is no rule is been allowed or it's been configured here. In case if you want to configure any rule, basically like in case if you want to block some website, or if you want to do some whitelist or a blacklist of IP address, all such actions is been performed inside your firewall policy. If you go inside the firewall policy, you will be able to see such kind of features, right? If you can able to, so you go inside the Azure portal, you have a three option you will be getting. One is been basically known as basically the option you are going to get, it's like something called as a parent policy, or basically you may be able to see like a there is something called as application or network rule. So all this kind of option available here, which will ensure that your system is actually configured with a all kind of traffic management or a rules here. In case if you want to do any kind of a rules, that is basically it's been done with the help of a configurations here. Basically like it's been configured with the help of a network rules here. Whatever rule has been configuring here, with the help of that the traffic rule or a management is been done here. You have a, in case if you want to configure any source NAT or destination NAT, that is being done with the help of this option. In case if you want to do any kind of a blocking of website, you need to just add a rule collection here, and here you can able to configure a rule. For example, like you want to block facebook.com, you can just put a name here, or you want to block it, or if you want to block it from a particular network or a network, if you want to block it, that source IP address you can able to give it here, and here you can able to give what is the type of the protocol you want to use it, and this is the place where you can able to give your condition, like you want to block some facebook.com or a youtube.com, some kind of website. If you want to block it, that details you can able to give it from here. And here you have a two collection. It's not blocking a lot, it can be used for allowing also. For example, like if you want to allow a particular website, you can able to give that details on the destination port. With the help of that, you can able to configure it here. So this is the way normally all the rule collections or firewall is been configured on in a cloud. With the help of that, you can able to manage all the traffic management, or which will allow you to put some kind of a security on in a cloud. With the help of a cloud, you will be able to configure this options here. With that note, let me pause it here for Q&A. In case if you have any question related to networking, let's have a discussion on that. I'm just putting this discussion into Q&A now. So whatever topics so far we have been discussing the last 4 days, or if you have any doubt related to the Azure networking, let's go for a Q&A now. You can able to go for a Q&A session now. Any questions from anyone? How do we connect two VM? Um, how do we connect two VM? Can you rephrase that question? Normally, if you want to connect two VM, RDP is the option, or you can able to connect, because if it is in a same VNet, you will be able to uh, communicate each other by default. You have option has been available. Now, can you please recommend some online or offline Azure lab to get a practical experience? Basically, Sujit, you can able to create a free account. The best option we have. You need to use our just account, and we can able to create a free account. There is only one type of virtual network only available, Rian, in a cloud. Like the VNet is the, normally this is the VNet has been available. We are basically are using. Basically, you have a VPN has been available. Basically, like in case if you want to connect to a network into a on-premises, you may be having a on-premises to one, and you have option to select on in a cloud portal. You can able to set it. You have a hybrid mode. You can able to available here. These are the few option available here. You have a VNet is the normal option. You have a VPN if it is coming, that basically like a option of express route, or you have a Azure firewall or a load balancer. These are the features normally we are using. API feature area we are not covered here. So it's been basically coming under the AZ104 exam. Any questions from anyone? Can you create two firewall on a net, two VNet? Same VNet we won't be use Richie, because there is a cost is involved. It's not a free product. So we are using a hub and spoke method only. So it's been not recommended to use two firewall on in the same VNet. That has been not recommended. That has been not recommended because cost is been involved. And guys, you need to understand in a normally in a cloud scenario, is not that only one firewall is can be allowed or Microsoft is will allowed. No, Microsoft has been supporting third party also. For example, like if you type a firewall here, if you go to the firewall, you may be able to see other third party product as well. You can able to go on Sophos or FortiGate or all the firewall. You can able to go it here. So there are two other firewall. You can able to configure it here. Ready? Any questions? I think we are almost on the time. Surag, over to you. Surag,
Thank you, Robin, for
I'll be
the
sharing a
session.
handout. Yeah, I'll share your handout by tomorrow. Surag, you can upload it on the portal. So I needed the time for making that.
Sure, that
Yeah,
works.
thank you. So thank you team for support and for the last 4 days. It was a wonderful discussion. We got a lot of uh, questions and session batch was interactive. For the help. Over to you, Suraj.
Thank you, Robin, for the training. It was really resourceful, and I'm sure everybody here was able to understand all the concepts, at least all the concepts that we have discussed so far, and it helped them to learn further into the Azure networking.
Yeah. So thank you
Thank you
team.
all for joining with us.
Yeah. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye. And there is a certificate of participation. So in order for you to receive the certificate of participation, you need to fill out the forms basically. So it's a feedback form. Let me share that form with you. Okay. So if please do not leave yet. If you leave, you may have to come back again to me or again to this particular chat to get that certificate. Okay. Let me just share it quickly with you so that yeah. And also please do share the certificate in LinkedIn and tag us. I have shared our LinkedIn profile as well for you to tag us. So I just shared this form where you can get your certificate of participation. It is basically a 2 minutes form which you can fill out, and you should receive it in 1 minute, and it will include uh, all the 4 days, and it will show the end date, which is today, and the 4 days of training. Okay. I hope the session was useful for you and you were able to learn. And I'm really looking forward to have you in the community. And I hope you will give us support on what we are doing. And you can give support by joining the session. That is basically it. It's not anything complicated. It's just basically joining our sessions and being inside the session. That is all.